All right. And so let's see if we could keep this within under 5 minutes, this one specifically. So when I posted my videos with me, with the crutches, going into the ambulance, post surgery, me for the fact that I can't rollerblade this summer, roller skate this summer, ride my BMX this summer. I can't even go to the parties this summer. My whole summer is completely shot. And being vulnerable, there's power in vulnerability. And I took this course in which is called Momentum Education when I was 21 years old. So that's 19 years from this moment, right? But the reason why there's power in vulnerability, because for me, when posting something like that, instead of my muscles and martial arts and fighting and abs and dieting and fasting and whatever it is, dancing, whatever it is that people tend to like, wow, that, you're great at, you're good at. Power and vulnerability, because now people can relate to you and you can relate to the people more, is which I find and found to be the relationship and how people can connect with you more. Because there were times when I did or do come across people outside of social media. The conversation is like, yo, when you work out, use a beast, yo. Yo, when you diet, yo, use a beast, yo. Yo, when you good on stage, use a beast, yo. You know what I'm saying? And when people, and even myself, you don't find too many weaknesses because you've really found something that you're good at. When you slip and fall, for other people, like I said, it's an opportunity for them to laugh and do all sorts of things and go, see, I told you that dude wasn't all that. Or I told you she wasn't. Well, let me keep it on me. But I told you that dude wasn't all that. Like, he just as human, just as us. But the reason why I posted it is because I've been knew that I was human just like everyone else, and so that pain is something that a lot of people can actually connect with when it comes to the human family. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is because there are a lot of people in pain, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's spiritual. And people sometimes don't even know how to get out of it. So when they see someone achieving so much success, it's like, whatever, here you go again. Oh, you are good at what you do, and they flock to that. But in between that, when the person is in pain and the person is so successful, sometimes it's hard for the person in pain to actually be vulnerable because they don't want to seem weak or vulnerable to someone who has so much achievement in something. And which is very beautiful, because now being vulnerable, the amount of conversations that I get from the people outside in general, the help. Of course, I get a lot of disrespect because I'm in New York City, but the help. People asking, am I okay? People, asking me, do I need anything? People reaching out. People, just understanding that what I'm going through is because they've also been through some sort of pain. And when a lot of people has gone through pain, it is actually very difficult to even leave that pain to the side and achieve something at a higher level when it comes to the physical body. You see? And I've taken notice of that, but now that I'm on this side of the fence, where it's like when I get dressed, I have to sit on the floor. When I do number two in the bathroom, I gotta set up a chair. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. When I take a shower, I gotta wrap my leg up. You know, when I wait for the bus, they put the bus down for me to get on. I'm like, oh, and I get to sit in the disabled or the elderly chair. You see what I'm saying? So now that I'm on this side of the fence, I'm like, wow. Okay, so being at one extreme, now on the other extreme, really brought like a new perspective on life, which again brings more value to what it is that I do now. Because now when someone says they're in pain, some people are walking around in pain their entire life. And I'm going to close off with this. How did and how do I continuously keep going with such high energy? It is because of the Holy Quran. This book here. It is because I read this book when I was 16. I bought this specific one when I was 17. And at the age of 25, I came across um, a, a paragraph saying that you will lose everything: money, family, relationships, living situations, but seek refuge in Allah. So from the age of 25, I was always, before I would leave my door and before I would pray, I would literally remember that verse for the last 15 years. That I knew that in some form of, like, who wants to lose anything, but in some form of fashion that I'm going to lose something. But seek refuge in God and keep going. And that will always be in the back of my head too. And that is not a secret, but that's one of the things in my arsenal that I kept. So regardless of me now going through this, that's why I'm dancing. That's why I did a video where I had to check myself. That's why I got up and did the qigong. That's why I'm still practicing on people doing massages. That's why I'm still dropping, posts, because it's not like I'm trying to come back. It's like, nah, like there's another opportunity because you're going to be tried. So why waste time, in my eyes, to lay down and just cry and say, oh, I can't do this. I mean, for 5 minutes, I was crying like, damn, I can't skate, cry, dance to the club, shit, you know what I'm saying? I can't get it popping, cuz, you know what I'm saying? It's like this, my whole summer is shot. And this is the first summer that everything is shot. Crazy, yo. So on that note, if you're going through pain, just know that some of us are going through pain far much worse than you can ever imagine. But we just find a way to get up and we keep going. If you got to cry, cry. If you got to scream, scream. If you got to talk to yourself, talk to yourself. If you got to meditate, meditate. If you got to take 3 baths a day, do that with bubbles and candles and music and a movie and just shut the world out. You do that. If you got to take a walk, if you got to go in a cage and fight, if you got to do something to get your body going, if you got to turn on some music as loud as you can to get your energy popping for you to keep going forward, to get out that situation that you in that's causing you pain. If you could, I'm damn near took 15 pills of medication every day since this happened. 15 pills? Never ever had to take 15 pills in my life. Medication wise, prescription, I never. Man, this pain was whipping my. Woo. So I just want to share that with you, yo. So if you going through something, just know that us who looking like Terminator and all that stuff like that, we going through something too, but we just don't express it. Peace.